What's up, people? I recently got this Proto reflex rail. It wasn't working when I got it. I fixed it up, and just testing it out, it kind of reminded me that, yeah, these are pretty nice, smooth shooting guns at a relatively low price point. So I thought I wouldn't do a full review on this gun, but I'd kind of talk about Proto guns in general. For anyone who doesn't know, Proto is the lower end brand to Dye. So Dye comes out with their highest of high-end marker, something like the M2, and then under the Proto name they release a gun like the Rise that's out now. Just a cheaper option made by the same company, and they use a lot of similar things throughout the two brands, Dye and Proto. So this reflex rail was, I believe this one's a 2011. My first electronic gun was a Proto Matrix rail. I want to say around 07-ish. And I have good memories of that gun. I actually still have that gun. I haven't shot it in a long time. The problem I had with that one was I always seemed to have to tech it more than I got to play with it. It had leaks, especially issues with the solenoid. I had some eye troubles with that gun. More recently, I went to try and loan it out to somebody. It wasn't working properly. I didn't want to spend the time to fix it, so I took it into my local pro shop. They basically said they don't fix them anymore because when they fix one issue, another one can pop up pretty easily, so they'll just sell parts for it. They won't fix it. That kind of encompasses my time with the Proto Matrix rail. But on the newer ones, they've started to beef up parts a little bit, made this, especially the solenoid, more reliable. And there are just a lot of things that are similar across the Proto line, so I thought I'd go over those. And you know, they're going to be, a lot of those are going to be present in that Proto Rise, the newest one. So in general, a lot of people consider Dye to have the best, if not the best, barrels on the market, among the best. And the Proto barrels are very nice as well. You wouldn't expect less from Dye. The internal honing is very nice. So just solid barrels you get. So for the Rise, if you buy the standard Rise, you get a one-piece barrel. You buy the Rise Max, you get a two-piece barrel. This one has a lever clamping feed neck. It's that style where you twist it out and spin that knob, or spin the lever around. Not my favorite of feed necks, but it serves its purpose. I can't remember if the standard Rise comes with the clamping feed neck, but I know the Rise Max does. This is an old twist style on-off ASA. Everything, I think, newer than this 2011 has the Dye Airport, and I know the standard Rise doesn't have the Dye Airport. The Rise Max does. Something that's kind of gone through the Proto line for a very long time is the same regulator. And I never liked the ergonomics to this regulator. The reflex rail has some rubberized grips on the regulator, which actually to me do make it feel better than the old Proto rail I had, where it didn't have any of this rubber. But just the design of it, the way it kind of curves around, it doesn't feel very comfortable. And then ergonomically, there's not enough room between that reg and the trigger guard to put your thumb in there. So, I mean, the only way to like wrap your thumb would be to put your thumb into the trigger guard. Yeah, just in general, I like the option to be able to fit my thumb in there comfortably. And you see in newer guns, they start to stretch things out more. But the Rise, the Proto Rise, does kind of stick to this same style of regulator, so I haven't shot that a ton, but I'm not the biggest fan of its ergonomics. Dye grips in general, I really like Dye grips. They're very sticky and hold your hand very well. The trigger on these Proto guns, I wish it gave me more feedback in that like it had more return. So for this one, I find it's really hard to walk that trigger. So I wish it was snappier in a way. But those are just generalized things. What you're really getting for that low price point, at $250 for the Rise, it's kind of the best cheap spool valve gun. And then your other option around that price range is the Empire Mini GS, which is a poppet gun. So if you really want something that's a spool, obviously you need to figure out the differences between a spool and a poppet and see what you like. I'm not going to go over that here, but for a spool, I think the Proto Rise is the best low-end spool. They have significantly made that gun more reliable than old Proto guns. And basically they've taken all the tech from all the old Proto guns and stuffed it into the Proto Rise. I think that's become a considerably better gun over time. So when I see people looking at these older Proto markers, I kind of tell them to stay away from these, and they kind of go around the $150, $200 price range. Yeah, I see a lot of people interested in them. I'm going to tell you just to gather a little more money together and buy that Proto Rise, because first of all, you get a new gun that no one else has messed with, which is always nice. I know I buy a lot of used guns, but it's always nice to have a brand new gun out of the box. You're the only one who's messed with it. You know exactly what's happened to it throughout the entirety of its lifetime. Yeah, that's really nice to know. Just in general, I find that the Rise is a better gun. You know, this was a $400, $500-ish gun. I can't remember. The reflex rail, it was like the mid-range option, kind of what you can compare the Proto Rise maxed to. I would still want to be shooting the standard Proto Rise over this. I just think by taking all the tech from the old guns and improving it over time, they've really made that gun pretty darn good for an entry level. So just in general, Proto guns, pretty darn smooth for the price point that you get, but I'm going to recommend you go for the new one. Yeah, you don't save a whole lot of money by going used with the Proto stuff, and that gun's really solid. So if you want a spool, low in price, go check out that Proto Rise. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about Proto guns. If you have any questions about them, if you have any questions about that Proto Rise, let me know. Yeah, see you later.